retired Lieutenant General Winston Sikauke Mapranga. For quite some time, he has been quiet. The man has come through about 5 days ago. He hasn't been, he last posted 5 days ago, but 3 hours ago, he has decided to come back and share something with us. You know, his actually the submissions always gives us a clear picture of what may be internally happening behind scenes within ZANU-PF. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. Retired Lieutenant General Winston Sikauke Mapranga explains that there is so much hostility around retired General Chiwenga, especially those who are enablers of the regime. I think we've seen it being displayed left, right, and center. And he says, why the fear of General Chiwenga runs deeper than politics? There is a word being whispered in Harare's corridors of power with growing urgency, and that word is dynasty. He says there is a lot of fear around the name of retired General Chiwenga, and I guess we have seen that. Numerous reshuffles within the military, numerous reshuffles also within the intelligence or spy agency of Zimbabwe. That shows that this man is feared. Emerson Tabuzo Mnangagwa, day and night, is planning about who to remove, who to replace in an effort to coup-proof himself. Will he succeed on this? He continues to say, not spoken openly. Of course, those closest to the current administration know better than to say it aloud, but it is there in the maneuvering, in the reshuffles, in the quiet sidelining of those who once stood shoulder to shoulder with the liberation struggle's living institutions. I have worn the uniform of this country. I have sat in rooms where succession was discussed in whispers long before it reached the newspapers. You're getting the sense? In Zimbabwe, there are rooms where succession is whispered, where succession is actually discussed. So succession is not a process that can be carried out by members of parliament in ZANU-PF. Am I pleased of this? Do I like this? I don't like it. I wish it was actually a process that is managed by people, not through secret corridors. So it appears a decision was long made that Chiwenga should succeed Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, but we've seen efforts from his allies to try and block him. That is what this general is saying. He says, and I say to you plainly, what is being attempted is not succession planning. It is an attempt to close a door that many believe should never have been closed. General Constantino Chiwenga is not merely a political figure to be managed. He is, to a significant constituency within the security services, the war veterans, and ordinary citizens who remembers 2017, the system is not, yes, symbol of an unfinished promise that this would be a government of renewal. In fact, let me take it again. He is to significant constituency within the security services, the war veterans, and the ordinary citizens who remembers 2017, a symbol of an unfinished promise that this should be a government of renewal, not a government of replacement dynasties. It is this symbol, more than any single policy dispute, that appears to unsettle those closest to the presidency. Why the hostility? Ask around Harare and you will hear the same theory repeated in different words, that a genuine transition to General Chiwenga would not merely cost certain figures their position, it would expose to scrutiny they have spent years trying to avoid. So the general is simply trying to say the takeover of Chiwenga is being prevented, because when he takes over, eventually he's going to expose a lot of skeletons of these government officials. They say he has a lot of information about them, and these people are aligned with Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa. I think we've seen how they fight. They fight very, very hard to prevent the actual presidency of retired General Chiwenga. Insiders describe a climate in which loyalty is measured not by service to the nation, but by one's usefulness in keeping the current arrangement in place indefinitely. Whether that translates into formal accountability for abuse of office, only Zimbabwe's institutions, not this column, can determine. But the anxiety around that possibility is, by most credible accounts, real, and it explains far more the current political theater than any public statements has admitted. This is why the language of constitutional amendments, a party consensus, and continuity has become so prominent in months recently. It says dynasty building rarely announces itself as such. It arrives dressed as stability, as unity, as avoidance of disruption. But Zimbabweans have seen this play before, and they are not as easily persuaded as some in the corridors of power seem to believe. General Chiwenga's own public discipline throughout this period, his refusal to be drawn into public confrontation, his continued presence at state functions, his insistence on constitutional process has, if any, sharpened the contrast. It is difficult to cast a man as a threat to stability when his conduct has been the very model of it. That contrast is, I suspect, precisely what unsettled his opponents most. Let me be clear about what this column is and is not. It is not a claim of proven wrongdoing against any named individual. Those are matters for Zimbabwe's courts and constitutional bodies, not for a newspaper column. It is an observation informed by decades in and around the security establishment that the intensity of resistance to a General Chiwenga succession is itself the clearest evidence of what some believe is at stake for those resisting it. When the reaction to a possibility is this disproportionate, it is worth asking what precisely is being protected. Zimbabwe does not need a dynasty, it needs the constitutional succession its people were promised. Whether that promise is honored or quietly buried under the language of continuity will say more about the character of this government than any speech ever would. Retired Lieutenant General Winston Sikauke Mapranga. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button, and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars.